Thank you for tuning into my channel. We're free motion quilting the interlocking curves today. So if you want to see how to quilt a design like this, please stay tuned. The interlocking curves design is one of my absolute favorites. It's probably my favorite out of all of them because it looks very intricate, but it's super simple. In the bow tie, the only thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to do like 5 of these patterns for the whole bow tie, so it fills up pretty quick. And I did mine fairly thin, but you can do yours thicker. All you do is start at one point, whatever point you're going to start at, and we're just going to draw our gentle curve that we did before. And then we're going to do another one that kind of goes in the opposite direction. Okay, then you go along the stitch line. Okay, and then same thing, gentle curve. Okay, and then go along the stitch line. And then you're just going to crisscross your previous line. Travel on the stitch line. Gentle curve. And so on. Traveling along the stitch line. And then retracing your steps, but just kind of going in the opposite direction. This example is probably going to have 6 in it, but it doesn't have to. Actually, I'm going to make it have 5. Okay, so and you just travel along the stitch line until you get to where you want to go. Okay, so you can see that even though it's really big lines, it really covers the bow tie well. In the background, what I love about it is that it has so much depth to it. Like, it's just so cool, and it creates a lot of texture, and you'll see that when we go to the machine. So here I started on this side, and I've already done this this whole area. Here's the thread that goes along. Alright, and then it's the same process. Curve line, and then go back. Trace along the stitch line. In the background, these are closer, of course, but it's the same steps. And of course, I'm doing this on camera, and so it's going to be a little bit wonky. It wouldn't be what I normally would come up with, but you get the idea. And once you can do this on the machine, it really creates a cool kind of effect. And you can decide, like this one, these are very large, like really gentle curves, but if you want to do more curves, you absolutely could do that. It's just going to create a little more texture. So here you have free reign to kind of play with those gentle curves, and while practicing your stitch length, you're also practicing that curving motion, and then practicing it as it goes from one line to the next line, and practicing that interlocking. Alright, it's really cool. Let's see what it looks like on the machine. I have my usual setup here. Feed dogs up. Have my Fonzo Porter quilting gloves, embroidery foot, white thread in the top, gray thread in the bobbin. And so I'm going to start this interlocking curves design. I always start with locking stitches. So first is my curve line, gentle curve. And then when I get to the block, I'm just going to leave the machine needle down. And then I'm going to go back a little bit, so back kind of to the left. Alright, and then I'm going to just interlock these curved lines. I'm going to do another curved line going back up. My pressure foot is being weird. So if the curve for the first line kind of goes in, I'm going to bring the next one kind of out, and so on. Okay, and then I'm going to stitch along the seam line, so in the ditch going around my bow tie. And I can choose to go as close or as far apart. I like to keep these far apart in the bow tie. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Another long curved line here. So from the top, curving gently all the way down to the bottom. Okay, I'm going to stop for just a second. In the ditch, and then going back to interlock with another curved line. And so this is, like I said, you're kind of free to play, so it doesn't have to be perfect, and the only definition of what's perfect is what you decide. Alright, and I'm going to do one more on camera, and then I'll finish it off camera. So let's see. Just traveling. This time I guess I'll stop in the little short section. There are no rules. I don't have any rules about how far apart I'm making each curve. It's just kind of wherever I feel like stopping. So here we go. Okay, and then in the ditch. I'll finish this off camera so that you can see what it looks like. So here's the block that I just did. I know that you can't really see the stitches. I'm going to try to zoom in and get the stitches kind of close. That seems to be a little better. You can see that there's quite a bit of space between each of these, and that's on purpose. That's intentional because this didn't quilt the bow tie as densely as the other the background section. So let's see how to quilt the background. I'm finishing up the background here with the interlocking curve. I hope you can see the texture that I've been able to create already using this pattern. And so I think I have about 3 or 4 more rows to go, and so I want to show you how I do that on the machine. And the only difference between the bow tie and the background, of course, is that these are going to be a little bit closer together. But I'm really hoping that you can get an idea of the texture. I know it's challenging with the thread matching the fabric, but we'll take a look at it off camera and you'll be able to see it more clearly. So I'm just going to travel along the stitch line first. Okay, and then I'll begin to create that first gentle curved line. Let's stop for just a second and readjust. Okay, and then I'll back stitch along the line there. And I'll pull the fabric towards me and begin to interlock. And so you can see how that happens. And it's just like wiggling back and forth, you know, it's not complicated. It looks complicated. Well, to me it looks complicated, but it's really not to create this particular design. And I think that's what I like about it, that it creates so much texture, and all I'm doing is stitching 2 curved lines together, and it just creates so much visual texture, and you can actually touch it and feel the texture, and I just love that. This will be the last one here. And you can choose to make the curves like a little bit deeper, you know, or if, like in this case, there was that much room, so I just pulled the curve as far over as I could so that I don't have to make another one. So I'm going to back stitch here, and I'll pull it off the machine so that you can see what both sets look like. So here's what the interlocking curves look like in the background here. Hope you can see clearly that texture. This is what would be considered the top of the block. And then here's the thread where I connected it. And then here's the bottom. This is the one that I just finished on camera. It's really, it just creates such a neat texture. And I think that's why it's like my totally favorite design. Thank you so much for watching this video on the interlocking curves and free motion quilting. This quilt is almost done. I'm so excited to have the interior of the quilt almost finished. There's still a few more blocks to go, and then I can start thinking about quilting the border. But I hope that you're getting a lot of ideas about some ways that you can practice free motion quilting in your own projects. If you have any questions about this pattern or any of the patterns, please leave them below. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!